Hi, my name is Tim Gomez, and this is another episode of Tim talking to himself. I felt kind of drawn or pushed to say something at this point because I feel we're on the verge of so much. So I wanted, to be honest, I just want to give a message of hope and unity. Little story, because clearly we all have to get to know each other a little bit better. So a bit more about me, if you like. I've been a semi-professional gardener over the years here in Portugal, and to be honest, it's lethal. The gardens are lethal. So many spikes and plants, you cut them, you get it on your skin, you're in trouble. And I've done a lot of gardens, and you get really bored over the years, cutting the same grass, trimming the same hedge, pulling the same weeds, and I've got bored of it, to be honest. Then, I got involved in more landscaping jobs, which were far more fun. A lot more drastic, but you have a plan, you go in, you dig it all up, you change the shape, you put the irrigation, you put the rocks, you dig holes for trees, you plant the plants, and you end up with something fantastic. And I much more enjoy that in the end. And it becomes, I think, an expression of intention instead of just dealing with the same old thing. You actually move forward, you make a decision. I find myself at a point just like that in my life, where it's like, well, if you're going to move forward, things have to change. There has to be some drastic movement forward. And champions, I feel right on the verge of that, to be honest. I feel right on the edge of a leap, do you know what I mean? Of that truly going forward. And I think we're all experiencing something very similar. I think this planet is experiencing something very similar. We are at a juncture, a change. And it's so exciting, as long as you are excited. If you're not excited, then it's just a challenge. But I'm excited. So like I say, I'm going to keep this light. That's my definite intention today. So even the things that are not light, I'm going to keep them light. That's what I've decided, because I only want to be in a light story. I was wondering whether to do this. I was going to do it yesterday, and then kind of got somehow, no, hold on, sleep on it. Then today moved away with me, and I'm preparing to move. But I was pushed. I've literally got a few hours. I've got to get myself some sleep, and then I'm getting a plane tomorrow. I'm not telling you where, because you're not listening. No one's even interested. So I'm not going to tell anyone where I'm going. But I'm going somewhere tomorrow. And then this was the last chance. And I figured, well, I'm still talking to myself. And that is safe. That's a great way to have this opportunity to express a few things. Like I say, I'm going to keep it light. Because I feel on the verge, I have no expectations. I don't know what's about to happen. But I feel there's a change coming. So I wanted to take this, I dare say final, I'm not saying final opportunity to speak for myself, I'm sure I'll get plenty of chances. To be honest, it's like playing chess with yourself or something, and I've had enough. I've had enough. I want to talk to people. I want to come out of this chapter. I feel it has been a chapter for many of us. And so, while I'm still talking to myself, and this can't bother anyone, I wasn't going to do any housekeeping, but I'm going to. But I'll keep it light. I think I speak for... Oh, did I mention? I think I mentioned I was the children's champion. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that. And to be honest, on top of everything else I've stated, this is my prime, what do you call it? Mission? I don't fucking know. It's the prime thing that drove me from the moment I went over the handlebars of my bike and slammed into that floor. What was going through my mind was I am the children's champion. And something just happened, didn't it? So like I say, I'll keep it light. But as the children's champion, and speaking for, I would assume, all parents, 19 fucking children dead, and 2 teachers in a situation. Listen, we live in an illusion. This is coming to be obvious to more and more of us. But there are things and forces locking us into the worst parts of that illusion. And as the children's champion, what possible understanding? Okay, let's keep this light then, shall we? Let's try and keep light what is so horrendous. So I'll keep it light. Because after all I'm fighting now are demons. And I will use your names, and I will state very clearly the insanity that you're involved in. An 18-year-old boy buys 2 assault rifles on his birthday, and 1 week later does this. This has happened in the United States again and again. And I will tell you exactly why. Because the very people... Hey, another thing, just to make sure you don't think I'm political. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Ted Cruz, Mr. Abbott, the lot of you. This isn't political because you are not political. This is highly personal. Okay? You are not political because you are paid to spout this utter insanity, to protect this utter insanity that has led to this again. And you will do nothing because you are paid to do this. And that's why you're not politicians. So we're getting personal now. Okay? I will use your names. Marjorie Taylor Greene. What happened to you? Huh? You wear a crucifix. You wear a cross. What church are you going to? What church have you ever gone to? To be honest, after looking for you for a few years, you should have a Q on your neck. You should be the Church of Q. Because you have managed to take so many people down a rabbit hole of utter insanity just to protect your greed. It's greed, lady. 14th District, North, Georgia. Wake up. Get rid of this lady. She's an atrocity. I'm sorry. That's how it is. Matt Gaetz, you only need to look at him. Don't need to listen. Goodbye. Ted Cruz. What the fuck, man? You come up with these ridiculous arguments to protect a right that was written when people had horses and carriages. It made sense back then. You're the same people that argue for anti-abortion, which you argue that and then you allow guns to kill the very people that are alive. And the abortion issue, it's a Catholic issue. Just like your gun laws was created in a time-gone era to create more of the Catholic race, to proliferate their numbers. And that has since become a joke. And yet still Catholics are anti-contraception and anti-abortion in some strange... Well, I'll tell you exactly why you're doing it in America anyway. Catholics, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Evangelists, I tell you why you're doing it. This was never your issue. You got onto this because your preachers and leaders decided that they needed something to galvanize support, to keep the congregation coming, to keep the money coming in. So you jumped on this. You spent the last decade or 2 or 3 building a momentum to get to this, where you will argue pro-life and yet refuse to budge on guns, on assault weapons. No one in the world understands, no one in the universe understands you lot right now. Because you support this bullshit that led to some lunatic. Oh, and one of the arguments you put up was hilarious. You know, let's arm more people, yeah? And have them standing around. Let me point out that 18-year-old, before he got to the school, was confronted by 2 policemen. And he beat them both. They both lost. 2 trained individuals lost against an 18-year-old who just bought the thing a week before. So your argument is moot. It's the children's champion. Fuck your gun laws, quite honestly. You don't wake up soon. I don't understand what on earth you're doing. Look, demons on the Republican Party still supporting this. Marjorie Taylor Greene, you are paid to support this shit. Like I say, how can you deal with this? No one's willing to listen. In America, you don't want to change. You've got these weird loopholes and laws that have allowed for automatic weapons on top of everything. I mean, crikey, what's next? Handheld nukes? You wouldn't mind, would you? You'd feel good having that in your handbag. I've got to tell you, this has to change. 19 fucking children dead. And what have you done, GOP? Gone on holiday, haven't you? I'll be delicate when I say fuck a lot of you. To be honest, lucky I'm talking to myself, innit? The NRA, gun lobby, you're not politicians. That's why I can do this. You may pretend to be, but you're not. You're paid to spout this lunacy that has led to this. And yet you refuse to talk about it, and yet you go after the women, but you don't protect the children. So Ted Cruz, I'd like to just take this opportunity to say, prostate test time, my friend. Housekeeping over. A little bit overexcited, I reckon. Believe me, I held back. David Hogg, March for Our Lives. I'm with you. For the future generations, this must change. I don't think any sitting politicians should receive money from gun lobbies or the NRA. I know pharmaceuticals, big industry, you're all in this game. And that's why none of you are politicians, you're just playing an awful game. Anyway, housekeeping over. How can you lighten up such a thing? You know, this is, for me, it's got to the core of it. And we have to move forward. We have to move in a direction of upliftment, of raising our gratitude, our appreciation. And in this world, I try not to focus, but things like that, when nothing happens again. No one can understand. I cannot understand. And then I see certain individuals standing up supporting it, and I just... But I know it's not real in a sense. And yet it is also very real. Hundreds of lives shattered. So, what do? I think everyone with a gun, and no assault weapons whatsoever, everyone with a gun should have to have a horse and carriage, I reckon, because that's when the law was written. There are 400 million guns in America. What happened? Can't you turn it around? Champions. This is going to be up to you guys, to be honest. Because like I say with so many other things, the adults are incapable. These guys make money. They make their living from making sure that there is no concept of reducing guns, of making sure the loopholes... I mean, surely the guy at 18 buys 2 assault weapons and the shop owner doesn't phone the police. If you go in shoplifting, they'll phone the police. But 2 assault weapons in the modern world, when there are more lunatic white people triggered by Trump than ever before, committing atrocities, and don't worry about it. Anyway, just as I'm trying to do is not focus on that, isn't it? But as children's champion, I couldn't help taking a little dig, perhaps. One of my last chances. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. I hope there are changes. I sincerely do. Anyway, that was enough. Housekeeping. How are you? I still find myself in a situation with no one talking to me, which gives me this wonderful freedom now to just go, well, and say my bit about a very complicated subject. And also just say, look, I don't know how it is for you, but I think we're moving forward now, aren't we? There's a definite shift these days of moving forward. And let's take that into every area. Let us have some hope again. Let us move. So me trying to get over any obstacles holding me back. There is, of course, one very important subject for me personally, which is talking to an angel. She knows who she is. And I can just keep trying again and again. And so, I wrote a poem. I wrote you a poem yesterday. And here it is. So this was 26th of May. Thank you. Magician through the mirror. Love story. Oh my love, this morning you were there. As I sat in silence, I could see your eyes your hair, just behind some leaves, a tree. I simply don't care. Only the fact you were there, this gives me courage again to dare, to step out of my lair. You see, I told you I had been through the mirror a lot lately, yet nothing can compare to what unfolded after I saw your hair. Boom, what quantum part of us is it? What portal do we possess? What majesty awaits us when we simply think less? I was through the mirror like never before, even simpler than stepping onto any shore. I was with friends, I had tasks, I was with people that wear no masks. I was tested, I was taught, I was messed with, but did not come up short. I drifted out, yet drifted back in. It was simpler than talking with kin. And this gives me courage, both without and within, to know that I can surely win. Win one moment, one look from you, win some certainty that I can break through. You see, I told you I can, and I will. I wish and I shall. And now I know the how and the when are not completely beyond my ken. Some time ago, I had the clearest of dreams. One of those times I slipped through the seams. I was standing at a table with others sat down. My attention was drawn across the beach bar to a group of young ladies standing not so far. My eyes fixed on you, and you turned around. You walked towards me with the intent to astound. I stared and not could believe it as you sat down. You said hello to the table, then hi to me, and I just stood like a tree as you gave the most loving look and moved closer to me. At that point I drifted out, like so many times where some shock or fight simply disconnects me from my truest insight. Yet just a bit later, a voice came to me. As I sit in silence, I am always closer to thee. You assured me so simply, you helped me to be sure. You said you can be with me, you can. It was a voice so pure. Over the time, since that very night, I have been through some trials I have had to fight. I have faced my shadows, I have seen the light. I have always held on to that feeling of delight. The delight that I feel every time you're there. The shiver I feel when I don't have a care. The times my heart does race, just seeing your face. I don't even have to think of you in lace to take me to that place. That place we all have, the portal within, that breakthrough to the treasure house I was just in. This poem to you, my angel from above, is just like that portal that only knows love. And as I write these words, I see my chance to broach the subject, to use my lance, to cut to the core, to defy every law, to reach to all people so they can be sure of this place that all must surely face. No need to brace for this drop to the unknown, for the wonders will be shown. Shown by angels, shown with love, shown at the right time, shown by angels from above. What magic are we in, my ancient king? What wonders await us for those who know how to go within? We are all magnificent, we are sparks of the divine. We are all growing, we are part of the vine. We are godlike, we are expressions, every one of us. That spark you think comes from someone. Yet here is the clincher, here is the shore, here is a chance to touch on the greatest ever law. The law of love, the entanglement of all, the law that finally can bring us all home, the law that was shown, the law that was known. And this is the subject that brought me to my knees, the subject known so well by the trees, that we are all one, that we are all here, that we are in love, there is simply nothing to fear. And so to sum up and make it clear, I have free will, and I would like you to hear. that I choose this oneness as a place to begin, to simply eradicate all sin. Also to reach you, my lady in lace. Did I mention I quite like your face? I will keep up my pace and cut all the ropes. I will go to the place that has all my hopes. I will go to the tree that is always in bloom. As Rumi said, just give me some room. My love, I know we are one, yet I cannot help just wanting some fun. Some fun with you. To be honest, it is true that I don't want to think of anyone but you. I blush now as I remember my dreams, realize all is not as it sometimes seems. So ready yourself as I step through the mirror. I pray your heart gives you a shiver. I beg the angels to bring us all home, and that they explain to us all that which they have always known. And so here I am, once again by the mirror. What wonders do we have that I feel are oh so very near? I let go of it all. I go into free fall. I understand what it is to enthrall. I cut the ropes. I break the chains. I open my heart and pray it is not in vain. I am here, my sweet, surprisingly still on my